Hello, I'm John Naylor from Deja Vu magazine, and behind me is a Zeekr 001. I've had this car and gotten it, well, a bit grubby the past couple of days, but anyway, we've had a lot of fun in this vehicle. You know, in amongst the different reviews I've looked at in terms of Chinese vehicles, this is another wonderful example of what China can do in terms of electric vehicles. This one's a November 22 build, so it's not the current model, but it's certainly very much the Zeekr 001 experience. And of course, the important thing that I really get the hang of when you look at these vehicles, even in terms of the little card I've got to open this vehicle up and run it, is that they're all trying to do a Tesla Model Y. And this one, actually, it's pretty red hot. There's a couple of things I really like about this vehicle in comparison to, say, the previous drive I've done of the Xpeng G6, which I thought fell short on a number of things. But anyway, let's take you for a look inside. Let's take a look at this styling. Now, this has really got some great muscle car overtones. I love the fact that it's got this boldness about it, a big proud nose on it, and the lines, well, there's definitely some European type influence here. And you see well, this car's dirty, but anyway, never mind that. And of course, this air diffuser and the rest of that, and these fixtures here, and the way the lighting and this car appears is actually really sets a statement. And we've been parked at the front of hotels and put in prime position because of it, I think of it, because it's a good looking car. One thing to note here, this is a November 2022 build. A bit of weather has got to enter this clear section here. And the other thing that's notable here, and you've probably experienced in all your cars, the muddy conditions we've experienced over the past couple of days have muddied up our cameras. 2 on the back, 3 on each side, 1 in the front for a big total. Hey, here's something that my partner really likes. When you unlock the vehicle, the handles stick out, which makes it really easy to know that the vehicle's unlocked. Now, let's take a look at the inside. We've got some lovely feature lighting happening here. I'm sure we can change the color. We haven't really bothered. Fantastic big display here on this vehicle. And we've used on the menu system here, obviously in Chinese with this particular car, and we weren't able to change it into English, which is a bit of a pity. But anyway, all the sorts of things you'd expect to see of course, a modern vehicle. And as I said, the 360-degree overhead camera and proximity stuff when reversing. You got little cars that light up and show you green, orange, and then red when you're too close to something. And look at the dashboard display here as well. Lots of detail here. In fact, this one, when we're driving along, and I'll probably cut away to a piece of video about that, where it shows that the vehicle proximity and object proximity is all happening right here in front of you. So the driver's screen is showing the vehicles around me and some other instructions, and above me here, destination is approaching. And of course, it's information overload for some, but for me, this is actually great as an IT guy. And look, it gets even better. Overhead here, look, and it's a bit hard to sort of see, but you've got a heads-up display. And I'll break away to a cutaway to show some examples of that. So the operation of the autopilot and cruise control is a little bit interesting, it's very Tesla-ish, but in a funny and awkward little way, different way. So, but we've also got the heads-up display. See how it's displaying mapping navigation and turn indication. So we're actually, interestingly here, we're just going past some of the vehicles actually slowed down a little bit, but unlike like the likes of the Xpeng, it's continued at a reasonable speed. So it's acting very much more reliably and a much better, smoother, reliable cruise control experience. Anyway, let's look at this curious little thing that goes on here. So I'll disengage the autopilot, and this. Yeah, okay, so it's disengaged. So I've got to steer at the moment and apply acceleration. I'm going to single tap here, and it's a little haptic feedback. So it's a little bit of shock back to your finger. And if I double tap that again, it'll go into full autopilot. And you see that it's showing the autopilot or lane keep and cruise control and thing. Now, how do we adjust the speed? It took me a while to work this one out, but this is actually a touchpad here, and we've got to look at that while we do it. I'll press down and see as we've got this thing. Oh, it's seeing someone crossing the road. How good's that? And oh, you missed that, but let's do that again. So if I press down on this scratch pad at the side here, I get these controls here, and it's seemingly, instead of having 4 buttons here to do this operation, you've got to press to bring it up. Press to bring, and it's not even doing it now. There you go. Look, it's not reliable. Press, come on, give us something. There we go. So you got it come up, and then we do a different operation. So minus, minus, minus to reduce the speed, increase the distance between the next vehicle. So it's not the easiest to use. I kind of got the hang of it now. Obviously, that's a disengage there. I take it. There you go. Hey, the other thing about this is it's actually slow to engage as well. Now, this is interesting. As you're going to see, it hasn't seen this guy. I've had to apply the brakes there because it actually missed this stationary vehicle, and that's a bit of a worry. But look, that's sort of kind of what's going on. I like it, but it's not as good as it could be. Keep in mind, this is a 2022 November vehicle though, so it's not the latest, greatest, but doing a reasonable job. But why don't they just have buttons, you know? Because otherwise you got to put your finger in the right spot and then look at actually up here to engage. Same thing goes on with the radio controls over here, that your track forward, track back, music up, music down happens here, along with these other buttons here, the control. We've also got to engage the AI here. Woman Chu Kunming. I don't know if it's going to understand what I said. Well, look, that's cute, isn't it? But anyway, look, no, just shush now. Oh no, it's going to keep going. Hey, here's one thing I really like. So Tesla style, you know, swipe key to get started in our rental car is actual, you can't really see it, but you can stand a phone here really nice. There's a charging pad here, but you can also put it here, a phone here, and stand it up so it actually shows back. Look, there's otherwise, look, you can go look ad nauseum at the various things in terms of what this vehicle has in terms of details. Oh, another thing up here, this sunroof is tinted. That's so good. Been here on a sort of autumn day in China. It's great to have cooler conditions while you're driving around. We got a multi-adjustment seat adjustment, backrest, all the rest of this electric for both driver and passenger. Nice feature in this vehicle is we've actually got, and we've put it in the highlight buttons here, so you actually get some seat massaging going. It's not doing it for me right now, but never mind that. Now, look, I can show you the boot space quickly. And we had the stereo going, that was going really well. The latest model has a whole lot more speakers in it apparently. We didn't bother opening this from the dashboard. Of course you can by using options in the menu. And I've heard criticisms of what goes on in terms of boot space here, but as you can see, quite happily getting 3 bags here, the sort of size they're going to fit as carry-on on a plane. As far as I'm concerned, plenty of space there, plenty of leg room in the back, need not show you that. And the final thing, and it really doesn't show up from this angle, but you've actually got really good rear vision through this thing. Another difference that's quite distinct from, say, the Xpeng G6. So anyway, let's wrap it up. What do I think about this vehicle? I think it's fabulous. If I were going to be presented with the option of getting a Xpeng G6 or the Zeekr 001, I'm going to go for this every single time. It's got more muscle about it. It's got more information. Oh, and really importantly here, and I probably showed you at some point with the cutaways, is the autopilot steers nicely through corners. It loves the highway. Oh, it's really quiet and plenty of power for overtaking. So look, the list goes on and on and on. The reasons why I really, really like the Zeekr 001. Of course, don't forget that you can see lots more car reviews. You can see my trips and travels and tips for Chinese travel. And of course, getting yourself into high cars as exotic as the Zeekr 001 or more. Like for instance, tomorrow we're picking up a Xiaomi SU7. Whoa, how exciting is that? And I'm getting it for around about the same price as this bad boy, which is underneath $100 Australian. I'm not going to quote the prices beyond that. You just be surprised how cheap you can rent these cars on a daily rate, as the finest vehicles going around the world at the moment, and they're actually in China, and that's where you got to go to drive them. So anyway, come across the Deja Vu socials. You come across the Deja Vu, the website, DEJA_VU. And if you're interested in this sort of content, you're interested in having a holiday that includes a vehicle such as this, then of course you can get in contact with us. We've got a fabulous travel guide service where you get a virtual travel guide in your pocket, someone who's going to be available for you via voice, via messaging, via video, and come get you if something really bad happens. But you can have all these sorts of experiences independently in China with the help of the Deja Vu travel assistant.